For those of you out there that are not familiar with this music video, throughout this whole production, Beyonce is seen in a variety of scenes shooting a toy gun. Now, most of these toy guns look like futuristic weapons, and all of them shoot a futuristic kind of light beam. Now, you may be wondering, what do space-age toy guns that shoot futuristic light beams have to do with the song entitled Videophone? The answer is, they have nothing to do with the song whatsoever. However, they do have everything to do with the propaganda that they want to subliminally implant in your mind. In this video, Beyonce is playing the role of the New Age Cupid. If you don't know who Cupid is the mythological Roman god of love that went around with his bow and arrow and shot people, making them fall in love and releasing their sexual inhibitions. This is a picture of Cupid sitting on the shoulders of the bisexual pagan god Dionysus. In the Greek culture, Cupid was first known by the name Eros and is spoken much of in the Dionysian mysteries. Eros's arrows were known to evoke love and desire that included heterosexual as well as homosexual allurements. And Dionysus and Eros were both referred to at times by the name Ulathrios, which means the liberator. So as I said earlier, in this music video, Beyonce is seen playing the role of the New Age Cupid, or to be more specific, the New Age Eros. And the reason why, in the majority of the scenes in this video, Beyonce is seen shooting futuristic weapons with futuristic light beams and not the traditional bow and arrow, is because Beyonce is supposed to be the New Age Cupid or the New Age Eros. And with her New Age devices, she is being used by the devil to promote the New Age agenda's sexual propaganda, which includes the liberation of humans to practice homosexual behaviors. And if you don't believe it, then pay close attention to these next scenes. Shortly after the scenes in which Beyonce is dressed up as an Amazon goddess, the video begins to show flashes of this peculiar scene, in which Beyonce is shown standing in between two males. Now this scene flashes on the screen 4 times before another interesting scene is shown, which is the very scene that you are currently viewing. Now what I'm going to do is show you the 4 segments in their order that lead up to this scene that you're viewing at this time. And I'll do this for the purpose of you being able to personally observe them. And then I'm going to break down for you the subliminal content of these scenes. Let's begin. Scene number 1. Scene number 2. Scene number 3. Scene number 4. Then we arrive at this scene. Okay, now let's break them down. Let's take these scenes apart and analyze the very obvious similarities that exist in them both, and let's begin with the color scheme. In this scene in which Beyonce is seen standing in between these 2 interesting characters, we can't help but notice some very obvious things. Number 1, these men have no shirts on. Number 2, these men have blue hoods covering their entire head. And number 3, Beyonce has on pink gloves. Now traditionally, the color blue is used to symbolize masculinity. That is why hospitals use the color blue to distinguish newborn male children. And the color pink is traditionally used as a symbol of femininity, which is why newborn female children are distinguished with this color. However, the color pink also has another symbolic nature connected to it, and that is, it is used to distinguish those that are attracted to individuals of the same sex. In other words, individuals that are homosexuals. Now, in this video, Beyonce is not wearing pink gloves to symbolize that she is a homosexual, but rather to symbolize the nature of the effect of the light beams that flash out of the guns that she is holding in her hands with her pink gloves. Remember, Beyonce is playing the role of Cupid, or the sexual liberator, in this video. So, with the blasts from her New Age pistols, subliminally, Beyonce is supposedly evoking the sexual desires of the males in this video to feel at liberty to openly express their homosexual desires or tendencies. Notice in these 4 scenes, Beyonce particularly focuses on aiming her pink trigger finger at the light-skinned male standing directly in front of her. This is because he is the main target. I will explain why to you later. Then, notice that the darker-skinned male standing behind her is the only male out of this blue-hooded duo that is making any type of sexual advances towards the provocatively dressed Beyonce, while the light-skinned male never approaches 1 inch closer to Beyonce. This is because it is obvious that the light-skinned male is not interested in Beyonce. He is supposed to be a homosexual that needs to be liberated, or rather come out of the closet. The following scene will explain to us why he is still in the closet. However, before we move forward, there is one thing that I need to explain, and that is these blue hoods on their heads. Like I said earlier, blue is the traditional color that symbolizes masculinity. However, these blue hoods are covering these men's heads, including their eyes, which should mean that their vision should be impaired. But it is very clear to see, as you closely observe these clips, that although these men's eyes are covered by these blue hoods, they still seem to have perfect vision. Notice how they know exactly where Beyonce is located. And when she points her guns at them, they even raise their hands in acknowledgement. This is because the blue hoods have nothing to do with their literal sight or their literal perception of things around them. Rather, the blue hoods are symbolic of these men's mental and psychological perception of reality. In short, although one of these men are clearly gay and the other one appears to be attracted to females, both of them are wearing blue hoods, which means both of these men are blind, indifferent, or have absolutely a different perception of traditional concepts of masculinity than that which is presented in society. In other words, both of these guys are into alternative lifestyles. And I will prove this point more later, but for now let's go forward to the next scene, which explains the reason behind why the light-skinned male is fearful of coming out of the closet and feeling at liberty to express his homosexuality.